Hey everyone, Sumo Spiffy here. Welcome to our latest Kirishima breakdown. Shodai's now been part of 2 breakdowns for matches that didn't happen, so let's roll him up into the Kirishima basho and get him in one that counts. He's done very well against Kiri all time, leading the head-to-head 10-5, including the last 3 when Kiri looked like he was about to take over the matchup permanently. So let's see how Shodai dominated initially, how Kiri started kicking his ass, and how Shodai turned it around and kicked back. In case you're wondering what kind of force these guys bring to bear, Kiri pushes up on Shodai's forearm so hard that when Shodai pulls it out of the way, Kiri damn near kicks himself over. He keeps his feet, but it gives Shodai a chance to press forward as they battle for grappling position. Once he has both arms around Shodai's back, Kiri pulls him left, but he's not actually in a position to get Shodai off his feet. Shodai intended to hop into a new position, and it happened to play directly into Kiri's move. Kiri drives him back successfully, but Shodai's so damn strong he got a miracle pull on Kiri's upper arms to get him to step out first. Kiri goes straight in and gets a double underhand grip, pulling up like he's trying to give Shodai the old moose knuckle. But you know how Kota Nawaka didn't seem able to defend against Kiri getting his belt? Shodai just pulls his arm and rips his grip free. Now Kiri's way off balance as Shodai turns, using Kiri's own grip against him and pulling him along with one arm, which is completely insane. Kiri lets go, but he's too close to the rope and too off balance, and Shodai jams his whole body into Kiri's to finish the job. I've talked a lot of shit about Shodai, but this is the kind of thing he can do that won over a lot of people. Kiri gets a pretty serious jump on Shodai this time. At this point in their head-to-head, Shodai's beating him 7-1, so he could be looking for any advantage at this point. His right hand comes up to start, but he's quickly back to the underhand grab. This time he hangs on with both hands until the victory is essentially secured. There's not a lot to discuss, but look at how much Shodai's feet are moving around. Some of that is from Kiri's pressure, but a lot is just Shodai's happy feet moving around an awful lot, rather than finding a position to dig in and create some way of putting that power of his to work. Shodai finally blocks off the underhand attempt on both sides and finds a solid grappling position. Kiri's elbow has his left hand pinned, but he has a clamp on the other side and it's relatively balanced. Shodai gets his left hand free, but Kiri doesn't let it go that easily. He wraps his right arm back around and gets even better control on that side. Now it's not exactly a balanced position. Kiri has to figure out what to do with his right side control, but Shodai's lost the control, so he's kinda stuck. Kiri finally decides to shove Shodai even more in the direction he's twisted, and there's no way for Shodai to recover. Kiri gets another great jump, but Shodai steps aside and pulls just as Kiri squares his feet and is in the worst possible stance to resist. Shodai, however, gets caught watching Kiri stumble to the rope rather than chasing. Our Muay Thai coach calls this taking a picture, when you do something and then don't follow up because you're watching the effect of what you did rather than continuing to fight. In this case, Shodai doesn't pursue until Kiri's hit the rope and recovered. Kiri's back is still turned though, and when he spins into Shodai charging, he leaps to the side just in time to only get pushed to the rope and not out. If Shodai had attacked immediately, he probably would have won and might have sent Kiri into the 8th row. Even so, Kiri lands with an awkward foot placement that lends itself to a spin back and towards Shodai, which is very dangerous, but fortunately Shodai's partial miss on the charge left him off balance and he can't take advantage. Now facing Shodai, Kiri's fully recovered and Shodai's happy feet are back. Rather than initiating any sort of grapple or trying to assert control, he jumps back for a desperation pull down in a situation where he doesn't need to be desperate. Kiri pushes him off, and when Shodai comes off the rope, Kiri gets his right hand on Shodai's belt. From here, just watch how Shodai never stops to set his feet and how easily Kiri spins him and pushes him out. Kiri controls the left arm, holds the belt just long enough to make Shodai dash away, and simply follows him out. Little to discuss here. Shodai was on the verge of losing Ozeki, appeared to panic as soon as Kiri's fingers got under the lip of his mawashi, and just about ran himself out of the ring. And this is where our tale gets a little bit weird. Shodai starts winning again. Shodai pushes off after initial contact with the right forearm, Kiri comes in, and Shodai tries a quick push on the head that does little. We don't have a good angle on their hand thrusts, but we can see both have their arms going in what is basically an Oshi fight. They look like they're about to settle into a grapple, but watch Shodai. A split second before Kiri pushes forward, Shodai commits to a lateral move right. If a guy dodges a push, it usually looks like they must have had quicker feet, but here we see anticipation in action. Kiri's foot slips a little, which helps, but mostly this is Shodai committing to the dodge and the pull the moment before Kiri attacks, which is perfectly timed and sends Kiri's hands down. Whether you think it was high-level timing or just kinda lucky, it was a terrific move. Shodai pulls down on Kiri's hands off the start, off-balancing him momentarily, but they quickly fall into some hand sparring. Shodai gets backed up, then comes forward. When he steps forward with his left foot, Kiri steps around his left arm and hooks it to gain an excellent side position. Those of you who are familiar with boxing, kickboxing, any sport with punches, you probably know that if someone throws a straight punch, you're supposed to dodge to the outside of it because it's harder for them to recover. The same thing applies here. A wrestler who doesn't just parry a pushing arm, but can get their body on the outside of it, potentially gains a significant advantage. Kiri hangs onto the arm, driving forward as Shodai spins towards him. In hindsight, this might have been a mistake. Pushing immediately before Shodai started to turn might have worked better. But in the moment, I'm guessing his goal was to hold the arm and prevent the spin. In any case, by getting his feet all the way around, Shodai's able to plant him on the hay and resist the push. Kiri falls into the grapple, which shouldn't be terrible for him, but watch Kiri's right foot the rest of the way. Shodai's pressure and Kiri's ill-fated throw attempt keep that foot from ever really planting and securing his position, which gives Shodai the leverage he needs to drive Kiri all the way across the ring and out. Kiri comes in, Shodai absorbs the contact, and Shodai just launches him. I mean, launch might be a strong word since they both push and Kiri doesn't lose balance, but he goes a lot further backwards than Shodai does. At this point, Kiri knows full well how much power Shodai has when he gets a favorable position, so as soon as Shodai comes forward, Kiri tries to get out of there. But this time he can't get outside of that left arm, and even though he makes a valiant attempt to step left and pull Shodai down, Shodai sticks with him throughout the push-out. So, after all this, who really has the current edge in this matchup? Kirishima is the better Rikishi overall, and it's not that close, and on any given day he probably should be favored against Shodai. But even though Shodai is the one usually discussed in reference to the mental side of sumo, he might be getting a little bit into Kiri's head. We saw in fights 3 and 5 of this video that Kiri was trying to time Shodai's touchdown perfectly to get a jump and not be called for a false start, and after their fight in March, Kiri tried desperately to evade Shodai rather than dig in and use a more fundamental approach. He's shown more technical tools than Shodai, and absolutely has more ways to win, but even if Shodai's only advantage is Strong is doing a lot of work here. If Kiri can find a strategy he's comfortable with that's effective at negating Shodai's power advantage, he can probably start snowballing the head-to-head, but if he continues to feel more compelled to dodge Shodai rather than find a way to beat him with his technical superiority, Shodai may still have an edge. Alright, that's it for this breakdown. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.